Today I'm going to show you how to make an easy everyday cell phone purse. It takes about 15 minutes to make, and it's good for cell phones and it's good for kids too to hide their little toys and stuff. This is what it looks like when you're all done. It is lined. I don't use any kind of interfacing or fusible fleece because this one was for my daughter, but you can just attach it to the back pieces of one of each of these two purse pieces, but not on your strap. So the first thing you're going to do is get your purse bottom and get 4 layers of fabric. It doesn't matter which way they're facing, and stack them on top of each other. And then you're going to trace that pattern right on top of your top fabric. After you've finished tracing this on the top piece of fabric, go ahead and cut out all 4 pieces at once. Now you're going to separate the outside of your purse and the lining. This is the outside of my purse. I'm going to place the fabric with the right sides together. And this is the lining of my purse. I'm going to place that fabric with the right sides together as well. Next, I'm going to draw 2 tiny little marks at the bottom, about 2 to 3 inches in width, so that way I know not to sew that area. Now clip or pin your pieces together. And you're going to sew from the top edge all the way around on your outer purse piece and the top edge to that little mark, and then start again at your mark and go back to the top edge on your other piece. Make sure you don't sew across that bottom and you don't sew across either of the tops. This is what it looks like after sewn. You should have used about a 1/4 to a 3/8 inch seam allowance. And there's that little hole at the bottom that we're leaving in the lining of the purse, and both of the tops should not be sewn. Now put the lining piece to the side, and we're going to cut a couple of notches right at the curves of both of these pieces. Anytime you have a curve in your fabric sewing, you want to cut some notches, so that way when you flip it right side out, that fabric doesn't pucker, and it just looks nice and flat. We're going to do this again for the lining piece. Then we're going to put our lining piece over to the side for later. Now using your main piece that will show on the outside of your purse, go ahead and flip it right side out. Smoothen the seams with your finger. I love to use a chopstick. Smoothen those seams out, and then I'm going to press it flat with my iron. So now I'm going to turn this over to the closure piece. 2 pieces of fabric, doesn't matter which side they're laying on, just put them right on top of each other, and then you're going to trace the pattern piece on top of that top fabric, and then you're going to cut them both out at the same time. Here it is cut out, just like you did before. Put the right sides of the fabric together, and then pin or clip it in place. Starting at the top edge, go ahead and sew around your purse closure, but do not sew across the top. You're going to leave that open. This is what it looks like. And now you're going to cut those notches in your curves once more. Now go ahead and flip this right side out. Smoothen the seams with your fingers or, again, my chopstick. and then you're going to press it flat with your iron. The next thing we're going to work on is the straps. So with straps, you have multiple options. You can make them any size you want to. You can use ribbon. You can use bias tape you buy at the store. I like to make my own so that way it matches. So here's how I make them. So you're going to have your strap piece right side down. Fold it in half and then press it with your iron all the way down. Open it back up and you're going to see that middle crease there. And you're going to get your bottom edge and fold it inwards to that middle crease. Press it with your iron and then get the top edge and fold it to that crease and press it again. Then you're going to fold those pieces together all the way down and press it with your iron. I showed you with a small piece of my strap, but you do it all the way down on the whole entire strap, and then you're going to sew a top stitch all the way down. Don't worry about those raw edges. They're going to be hidden inside your purse on both sides, but this is what it should look like. And make sure you sew that line right close to the edge. So now you're going to get your outside fabric piece for your purse, flip it over so that the front is face down. Get your strap pieces and place them about 1 centimeter, 3/8 of an inch from the edges. For now, you're just gonna let them lay there in place. Then you're going to get your closure piece, your flap, with the right side facing down and put it right on top to sandwich those straps in between. Now you're gonna clip or pin this in place right over where the strap is, so that way it holds the strap in place. But make sure not to catch the bottom piece of that main purse fabric, because you're only going to sew this in place on the top piece. So see here, only the top is clipped. You're not going to sew on that bottom back flap. Now using 1/4 inch of seam allowance, go ahead and sew that little line to hold those things in place. Right close to the edge there. So now you're going to fold your strap piece, however long you make it, fold it up so that it's just sitting right at the bottom of that bag. You don't want to get it close to the top because you're going to sew there in a little bit. You want it right close to the bottom. Grab your lining piece and you're going to put this inside the lining piece. Just fold it in half, tuck it in, and then you're going to match up all the seams and pin or clip them in place. So you can see here that I'm putting it in and then I open it up once it's in there and I match up those side seams and I'm going to pin or clip them in place there. Make sure both bags are open when you're doing that because you want to make sure that you're sewing it correctly. You're going to do the same thing, matching up the other side seams, and then just give it a couple more pins or clips to keep it all in place while you're sewing. Once you get all this pinned and clipped in place, you're going to take it to your sewing machine and sew all the way around the top diameter of your purse using a 3/8 inch allowance for your seam. That way it covers up that last seam of 1/4 inch. This is what it should look like. And then now you're ready to go to that bottom opening and pull the fabric right side out. Go ahead and smoothen the lining of your purse with your fingers or chopstick, and then we're going to work on closing that opening. Go ahead and fold the fabric on both sides inward so that it's flush with the rest of your fabric, and then you're going to just sew a straight line to keep that closed. You can use an invisible ladder stitch if you want to and hand sew it closed so you can't see the stitch, but it's the lining of the purse, so I go ahead and stitch it with my machine. Now go ahead and pinch the front and back of your purse so that it opens it up and you can shove that lining piece right inside. Smoothing out the seams with your finger or a chopstick or some other object, and then you're going to press the purse flat so that it all stays in place like it should. This purse is so versatile. You can keep it just like this with just the flat closure and it'll be fine. You can add buttons or snaps to the front to keep it closed. You can add a Velcro closure. You can add fusible interfacing. I like to use fusible fleece for purses. It adds a little bit of padding. So that way it's, a little thicker, a little more sturdy, however you like to make it. If you were going to add a button or a snap, you would just do it right there on the front in the middle or on the sides, right here, and then right here on that front piece. You could add Velcro here and here to close it. It's just perfect. I love this. I'm making them for my nieces for Christmas, and I've made some to donate to Operation Christmas Child to put in those shoebox bins. So these are quick and easy, fun projects. You use your scrap fabrics. It's really great.